All right. Shalom Yasharallah. Before we get started, we gonna give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rechakodash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone, the teacher and Ruel. Peace and salutations to the 04 elect. Back another video, another lesson. And this one's gonna be a prophecy watch. All right, rumors of wars, or rumors of war. And I got a few articles pulled up, and all you see in these articles is, nations talking about going to war and preparing for war. All right, and that's the times that we're coming into. And the Lord is mustering up. Matter of fact, we can get that in Isaiah, the 13th chapter. This is Isaiah 13. I'm gonna start at 1. It says, "The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see." It says, "Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles." All right, and we know that banner, as we always bring out, is this truth, and the high mountain is America. All right, it says, "Exalt the voice unto them." We go out on the streets and preach the word to our people, and of course to the other nations, to tell them of their judgment. It says, "Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles." It says, "I have commanded my sanctified ones." The sanctified ones are the prophets. Jeremiah 1 and 5. That's a precept to it. It says, verse 4, "The word of the Lord," whose name is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai. All right. "Then the word of the Lord," all right, Yahweh, "came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." In 1044, call Allah Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So the Lord sanctified Jeremiah to be a prophet. All right. And Lord willing, we're sanctified to be, we were sanctified to be prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So let's go back to Isaiah 3 again. "I have commanded my sanctified ones." All right. "I have also called my mighty ones, the angels, for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness." Verse 4, "The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord," all right, "of hosts mustereth the host of the battle." All right. The Lord is gathering up these nations for war. All right. Now let's go read one. We can start with oh boy. Let's just start with this one. This is from End Time Headlines. This is from yesterday, May 26, 2025. It says, "Finland begins preparing for the worst as Russia expands military presence near border." It says, "In response to Russia's expanding military infrastructure along their shared 1,340-kilometer border, Finland is intensifying its defense preparations, adopting a stance of vigilant readiness as a NATO member." It says, Major General Sami Nurmi, head of strategy for the Finnish Defense Forces, emphasized that the military is closely monitoring Moscow's maneuvers, stating, in quote, "It was their job as part of the NATO alliance to prepare for the worst." This development follows Finland's rapid ascension to NATO in 2023, prompted by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which doubled the alliance's border with Russia and heightened regional tensions. It says, satellite imagery, as reported by The Guardian, and oh my goodness, I'm Slovakia. And give me 1 second. And corroborated by the New York Times, reveals Russia's military buildup near the Finnish frontier. The imagery shows new infrastructure, including rows of tents, military vehicle warehouses, renovated fighter jet shelters, and construction at a previously unused helicopter base in the Karelian Isthmus and other areas like I can't read that. Like in other areas like Petrozavodsk and Kamenka. Forgive me, Slovakia. We ain't the best readers. It says, while NATO officials note that this buildup is not on the scale of Russia's pre-2022 Ukraine invasion preparations, it signals a strategic shift potentially in response to Finland's NATO membership. Major General Nurmi indicated that Russia may be preparing to redeploy forces, particularly land units, to the Finnish border once the Ukraine conflict subsides, stating, they are changing structures and we are seeing moderate preparations when it comes to building infrastructure close to our borders. It says Finland has responded decisively to these developments. The Finnish border guard recently completed the first 35 kilometers of a planned 200-kilometer fence along the eastern border, equipped with cameras and sensors to distinguish between human and animal crossings. And you can read the rest on your own, So, people are preparing for the worst. Well, Finland is preparing for the worst. All right? They could be, going into action. Let's see what's over here. And natural news. Let's see what they got. Let's refresh it. All right. It was a Slovakia. There was a recent article where Iran and Russia made a pact, and that's the Ezekiel 38. But see if I can find that. It's probably not on this one. But let's read this one. This is from the People's Voice. World War III alert. Germany approves Ukraine to nuke Russian targets. It says Germany Chancellor Friedrich Merz has authorized Ukraine to deploy German-supplied missiles, including nuclear-capable systems, against Russian targets, fueling fears of World War III. This unprecedented decision, announced during a tense Berlin press conference, marks a sharp pivot in Western support for Kiev and heightens the risk of direct confrontation with Moscow. It says Merz further signaled that this policy extends beyond Germany weaponry, greenlighting Ukraine's use of advanced systems from allies like France and the United States for strikes on Russian soil. The move has sparked intense debate among NATO neighbors. The move has sparked intense debate among NATO members, with critics warning that such actions could provoke catastrophic retaliation, while supporters argue it's a necessary deterrent against Russian aggression. Posting to X, Merz declared, "We will do everything in our power to continue supporting Ukraine. This also means no longer having any range restrictions on the weapons we supply. Ukraine can now also defend itself by attacking military positions in Russia." It says previously Kiev was permitted to use these weapons only against Russian forces in occupied Ukraine territories. Speaking at the WDR Euro Forum 2025 at the Republika Digital Conference in Berlin, Merz stated, "There are no longer any range restrictions for weapons that have been delivered to Ukraine, neither by the British, nor by the French, nor by us, nor by the Americans." 2 years ago, Remix News ran a video from Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, outlining how the conflict started with countries sending helmets and then tanks to illustrate how deeply the West was involving itself in the war. The conflict appears to only be escalating more and more since Orban issued his warning. As the war has progressed, nations like Great Britain and France supply advanced weapon systems, including Storm Shadow and Scout cruise missiles. Germany has been debating the delivery of its Tarsis cruise missiles, which have a 500-kilometer range, a move Moscow has warned would make Germany a direct party to the conflict. Merz did not explicitly mention Tarsis missiles in his statement, but his predecessor, Olaf Scholz, refused to provide Ukraine with such weapons, fearing a sharp escalation of the war. The policy change comes against a backdrop of continued Russian attacks on Ukrainian cities and stalled peace efforts, while Merz emphasized that Ukraine does not target civilian areas and should maintain the distinction. He stressed that a country unable to retaliate within the aggressor's territory cannot adequately defend itself. I'll just finish it out. It says, however, it appears that Western countries are already actively targeting Russian forces. Reports from November indicated that Ukraine had already used long-range ATACMS missiles from the U.S. and British Storm Shadow cruise missiles against military targets in Russia. It says Merz also cautioned that the West must prepare for a prolonged war, even as diplomatic channels remain open. He suggested that Russian President Vladimir Putin views Western offers of dialogue as a sign of weakness, asserting that nobody can now seriously blame us for not having exhausted all the diplomatic means that exist. It says, at the same time, President Donald Trump has reportedly become increasingly delusioned with Putin following Russia's recent attacks on Ukraine. Trump recently launched an unusually sharp criticism of Putin on his Truth Social platform, describing the Kremlin chief as absolutely crazy. All right, so war, tensions are rising. All right, and eventually all this is going to lead to Armageddon. All right, I got this one from End Time Headlines as well. Russia takes more land, declares peace deal is dead. America must now prepare for the prospect of war. So America may have to jump in, It says Russian forces have taken 4 border villages in Ukraine's northeastern Sumy region. A local official said Tuesday, days after Russian President Vladimir Putin said he had issued an order to establish a buffer zone along the border. It says Sumy borders, Russia's Kursk region, where a surprise Ukrainian incursion last year captured a pocket of land in the first occupation of Russian territory since World War II. Creating a buffer zone could help Russia prevent further Ukrainian cross-border attacks there. Meanwhile, a Russian bombing campaign that had escalated in recent days slowed overnight as far fewer Russian drones targeted Ukrainian towns and cities. Moscow's invasion has shown no signs of stopping despite months of intense U.S.-led efforts to secure a ceasefire and get traction for peace talks. Since Russian and Ukrainian delegations met in Turkey earlier this month for their first direct talks in 3 years, a large prisoner exchange has been the only tangible outcome, but the negotiations have brought no significant breakthrough. I'll read a little bit more. It says, meanwhile, the Russian press had declared Donald Trump's peace deal is dying a slow death as a key ally of Vladimir Putin mocked Western ceasefire plans by posting a map showing almost all of Ukraine occupied by Kremlin forces. And like I said, you can go into that more. I'll try to put the link in the description. But all you see is war. All right, Germany chancellor lifts restrictions allowing Ukraine to strike military. We just read that one. All right, Israel ramps up preparations for multi-front war. Okay, Russia massing 50,000 troops. Okay, to prepare for assault on Ukraine's fortress cities. All right. There was another one. Yeah, this one right here. Iran seals defense pact with Russia as U.S. nuclear tensions continue to escalate. So all you see is war in the news. Let's get let's get Mark 13. I'm sorry. Forgive me, please. Mark 13, verse 7, it says, I started at 5 and said, and Yahushua answering them began to say, take heed lest any man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and shall deceive many. And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled. For such things must needs be, but the end shall not be yet. So we're hearing, different rumors of wars, but the end is not yet. All right, but these wars are going to happen. You got the China, Taiwan, of course, Russia, Ukraine, of course, the Israel, and Hamas and everything going, the Gaza Strip, everything going on over there. In other wars, I believe it was the Pakistan. Was it Pakistan and India? All these different small wars going on, right? It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in divers places, and there shall be famines and troubles. It says, these are the beginning of sorrows. This is just the beginning. We're in the beginning stages of this world collapsing, especially of America. America collapsing and Esau's world falling. All right, let's get yeah, we can read this one. Psalms 55 and 21. Right, because them being in control. This is all this since they came into power. These Edomites, Esau, Edom, it's been nothing but war in the earth. Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. He can talk a good game. But war was in his heart. His heart is his mind. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. You see, so this is all they have. This is all they do is go to war with each other. And that, I think it's in Revelation. Is it 6? This is Revelation 6 and 3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse from Salakia. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. All right, and these people have taken peace from the earth. This earth was made to be peaceful. It was made to be for people to flourish, but since they've been in power, that hasn't happened. Right, and then it tells us when the righteous get in authority, the people shall rejoice. But when the wicked are ruling, the people mourn. It's nothing but mourning on this world. You see, let's get we get the second Esdras right here. We'll read the GNT if we can. This second Esdras 13. I'll start at 29. It says, behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. So when the Lord returns, he's going to see there's going to be all complete anarchy on this world when he returns to come and save his people. Well, starting with the elect, right? We can read this in the GNT. Second is 13. Did I go past it? What's that? I'll start at 29. I had it highlighted. I don't know what happened. But this second is 13 and 20 and 29. It says the time is near when God Most High will begin to free the people on earth. At that time, everyone will be close to panic. They will begin to make war against one's. I'm sorry. Let me read it again. They will begin to make war against one another, city against city, region against region, nation against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. You see that? So that's what we're seeing playing out on this world. In this world. Okay, that's all you see is war. Well, rumors of wars going on. All right. And like I said, eventually all is going to lead to Armageddon, World War III. And it's going to lead to a nuclear war. Let's get that Isaiah 9 and 5. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And what's that fuel of fire? Those ICBM missiles being shot off. All right. So, Prophecy Watch, rumors of wars. There's going to be more. Every day, each day that goes past, we're closer and closer to, of course, the return of our Lord Yahweh Shah coming, but we're closer to World War III happening. We're somewhat in the midst of it, but it's not on a large scale yet. So Lord willing, this was edifying for you brothers and you sisters. Lord willing, was edifying for you brothers and you sisters out there, and you got something out of it. We gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the 04 elect. Lord's will use edified. To the next video, I'm going to say, Shalom.